Reports of the death of San Francisco have been greatly exaggerated. That's right, San Francisco is experiencing its biggest transformation and renaissance since the gold rush, and it's only the beginning. In the last year, we have seen 1.7 million square foot of office space taken out by AI companies in downtown San Francisco. We've also seen a combined investment into tech of $9.6 billion with a B dollars. And there are now finally plans for 3,500 residential units to be built within the city limits. So we all remember during the pandemic, which was really hard on this place, and a lot of people in San Francisco, including myself, fondly remember what it was like pre-pandemic, or even going back further than that. San Francisco is one of these unique cities, unlike anywhere in the world, where every neighborhood or enclave had its own distinct culture, way of life, different kind of people. It was almost like being in another city when you went into a different neighborhood. It was really part of the magic and a big reason why I moved here over 20 years ago. But there's been a lot of challenges, systemically and socially, that have hit the city as it's grown over time. And with the huge rise in tech and healthcare and just overall capital coming into this market, there have been some growing pains and consequences as a result of that. But you guys remember when tech abandoned San Francisco? Well, AI changed everything. Here are some facts and numbers to back that up and tell you just how much it changed. OpenAI, the company responsible for ChatGPT, has decided to headquarter here in San Francisco with an office space and lease of over 600,000 square feet. The great and highly respectable Amazon, which we all know well, made a $4 billion investment into Anthropic. And looking beyond this, AI firms are projected by the year 2030 to occupy over 12 million square feet of office space in downtown San Francisco. So we're literally undergoing this visual transformation of what was once empty office spaces post-pandemic, because companies have changed how they're bringing people, or not actually bringing them back, in fact, to work, or they've gone out of business, or they've actually left this market altogether. But that transformation is happening. And again, with the abandonment of tech, AI has ushered in and is filling these spaces, but also breathing a lot of new life into the city. So while downtown is rebounding, the waterfront is becoming a city within a city. I'm talking about specifically the area of Mission Rock to Pier 70. Once thought of as just kind of a wasteland. In fact, I remember distinctly when I moved to San Francisco over 20 years ago, that's where all the raves happened. That's probably where they also disposed of some of the bodies, but wild parties would be out there. It was kind of decrepit, undeveloped land, kind of shady. You didn't really want to be caught out there too late at night. But eventually so much has gone in there over the last 20 years. First with the ballpark, and then the rise of so many condo and retail developments. Eventually the Chase Center was built just in recent years, which houses the Warriors and is also home to some of the best entertainment, concerts, and shows around the country. But that connection to the Chase Center has provided and is continuing to throw gas on what is a growing entertainment, energy, and sector around that area. Mission Rock is now a legitimate mixed-use community with all kinds of development and capital and investment going into it. Pier 70 is undergoing a complete revitalization as a result of all of this investment, and the Potrero Power Station, once thought of as just an afterthought in the area or that nothing could be done around it, is undergoing its own transformation. So this is really exciting for this area, because if we think about what it's gone through and what it was, again, 20 years ago, which is my reference point when I first moved here, the central waterfront area and its transformation is really exciting. Next, let's take a look at the West Side expansion. Now, this part of San Francisco's comeback is what I'm actually most excited about, because it actually affects the one thing that we have a serious crisis with here when it comes to real estate and all of us that work under the umbrella, and that is inventory, or actual available units for people to live in. Now, there's been a lot of struggling retail and mall centers in that area, and specifically I'm talking about Stonestown. But the huge news here is that the largest housing project in over 50 years for this area is happening right there. Here are some of the details. Basically, a lot of open space and parking lots and parking garages are going to be converted over the next several years. What this is going to do is create up to 3,500 new residential units, over 6 acres of parks and plazas, senior living integration, and a complete retail renaissance. Basically making that area so desirable that people will want to live there and not feel the need to actually come into any other part of the city. This is good and solid urban development. Suburbs typically do this, where you'll see where there might be just one particular shopping area or retail area that everyone has to be able to come to. But as that city or suburb continues to sprawl out, the need for having another one of those centers in a different part of town continues to grow so that people are alleviated with the stress of all having to come to the same area, but also create economic activity in other areas as your town continues to grow. We translate that into what is San Francisco, and we're seeing that happen here with this Stonestown development. So I couldn't be more excited about this because, again, as somebody who's a steward and advocate for this industry, specifically on the mortgage side, but I work with so many real estate professionals, we have been gridlocked by inventory here. There's just not a lot of it because we don't have a lot of space to build. But this unique once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that's happened with Stonestown and how it's going to create, not overnight, but through time, so many thousands of units is going to really help, not to mention be a huge economic boom for this area. So for those of you that remember what Market Street was and that it was kind of a safe area and full of life in terms of restaurants, cafes, and great retail shopping experiences, those days are going to come back. Keep the faith. For those that remember what downtown San Francisco was in terms of its vibrancy, especially during the week with all the hustle and bustle and having its own New York feel, but in a San Francisco way, those days are also going to be coming back. And whether you're a longtime resident of this market and have continued to believe in it, or you left maybe during the pandemic or prior to it, I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised with what the future holds for this market. Now, if you are considering a move to the Bay Area or San Francisco specifically, me and my team would be honored to be able to help you in any part of the decision-making process or just doing research or trying to get together a game plan of how to not only budget but ultimately live in this area. It's a world-class real estate market and one that has always been safe to invest into, mainly because of its limited size and inability to be able to grow too far outwards because of those natural boundaries and restrictions. And while that has led to a ever increasingly more difficult market to break into, it's also the reason why property values remain and will continue to be so high. Now, I'm tracking these developments daily and continuing to report back to everyone on what's going on with them and what it's bringing to the marketplace. But if you'd like to see more and actually follow these updates in real time, please make sure you subscribe to this channel so that I can bring you these updates directly. Again, I couldn't be more excited about a lot of these changes in this rebirth or renaissance of San Francisco and this huge boom of a gold rush that it's about to re-experience all over again. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the next video.